Now tip number 4 is graphs. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close this and reopen the original so we get back to where we started. Now graphs again are another way of being able to look at your data fairly swiftly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a new spreadsheet and I'm going to copy the first few rows which are to do with Greater Manchester in there, and I'm going to delete some extraneous columns. So I want region name and area code, for instance, to go. So I've just got the month and I've got various measures. To create a graph from this, I go to insert and you can see various charts that it's recommending. So I could have a look at any of these recommended charts, or I can make my own up. So I'm going to make a bar or column chart. So I'm just hovering over this and you can see a preview of what it might look like. Okay, I want this to be in its own spreadsheet. No problem. I just right and click within the chart and I go to move chart to a new sheet. Okay, it still looks quite messy. Well, I have got 7 different measures at the bottom. I don't want all of those 7. I just want detached price and flat price. No problem. I'll right and click in the spreadsheet and I go select data and I decheck anything that I don't want. So I just want detached price and flat price, and that's all I've got left. Okay, still not looking that good for me. I'm going to change this to a line chart. So in the chart tools design, I'm going to click change chart type and I'm going to change that from a column chart to a line chart. But suppose I wanted both a line chart and a column chart. So I wanted, say, the flat price to be a line and the detached price to be a bar. No problem. I can change the chart type. Again, I can go to design, change chart type, or can right and click, go to change chart type, and I can go right to the bottom to combo. So here I can see, I can say I want a clustered column for detached and a flat price for line. If I don't like the colors, no problem. I can change the colors fairly swiftly. Or I can have a look at various different chart styles to see if there's something that might be better for me. I can add elements. So suppose I wanted to add a data table so I can actually see all of the numbers. I can do that, though probably not recommended in such a busy graph. If I wanted to really have this, maybe I should just look at a particular year. So I'm going to either delete all of the data that I don't want, or I can right and click in the chart, select data, and I will change this from going to row 61 to going to row 13. And that allows me to focus on one particular row. Again, I now have to, one particular year. Again, I now have to take away anything that I don't want, any of the measures. If I want to change any of the individual bars in terms of the color, say I wanted to highlight the July 95, that's fine. I click, all of those bars are shown, or I've got these little marks around them. Click again, and that just highlights this one. So now I can go into Chart Tools Format and say I want this to have a different color. Now there's lots more options if you right and click. So suppose I was to click on the little line, right and click and go Format Data Series. You'll see that we have got various options here. So we have got formatting, fill and line of the line and of the marker. So maybe I wanted a orange line and I want to add a marker. So a little rectangle, for instance, make it big one. Now suppose I don't want this data table. Well, I can click on this plus and remove the data table, but suppose I still wanted to see the individual values of the bar. No problem. Click on the bars, add data labels. And there you go. Now you can format the data labels as well. Right and click on them, go to format data labels. And you can say, well, I want it to be in the center of the bar, or I want to be right at the bottom. And there are lots of different things that you can do with it. Have a look at all of these items, and not just the label options, but also the text options as well. So we've got 7 different sets of data you can click on. So charts or graphs, there's a lot of them that you can have a look at. Pie charts, useful when you've got small amounts of data and you want to see the relationship between them. X, Y graphs, if you have got 2 sets of numbers and you want to compare them. So for instance, let's say I wanted to see if there was a correlation between the detached price and the flat price. Well, I can have a scatter graph and we can see what correlation there is, if any. Now, I can't see much about this because the figures, the axes start at 0 and go all the way to 100,000. So let's trim down the axes. So again, click on the axis and then right and click to get the format axis. And I can say, well, I want this particular axis to start at 70,000. And I don't want it to say 70,000. I want it to say 70, 80, 90, just to make it a bit easier to read. So lots of formatting you can do. The basic thing is to give it a go. You make a mistake. I've changed the maximum to 30,000 where I wanted to change the minimum. No problem. Click reset right next to it and the computer will put its own value back in. So graphs, they're very useful for being able to have a look at your data very quickly. And there are so many different types. And you can customize them as much as you want.